Assalamu alaikum, my dear students, viewers, and learners. I know all of you are absolutely well and safe and sound by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am fine also by the blessings of Almighty Allah. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Mamata Sultana, Assistant Professor in English, Jafar Government Women's College, Jaipurhat. My dear learners, welcome to my class. Dear students, in my previous class, I told you about the grammatical item modifiers. There, I discussed the definition of modifiers, the types of modifiers, and the types of pre-modifiers, that is, in which ways we should use pre-modifiers. Today, I would like to conduct a session with post-modifiers and how we should use post-modifiers. And here I give you a model question. I set a model question for you. But I think that I know that first of all you have to know the definition of modifier or modifier to understand the definition of post modifiers. For this reason, though in my previous class I discussed about the definition of modifiers, but I feel the necessary of the definition of modifiers in today's class also. For this reason, I will discuss the definition of modifiers. Let's start. You see here your definition of modifiers. My dear students, a modifier is a word, phrase or clause that modifies, that is, gives information about another word in the same sentence. For example, in the following sentence, the word burger is modified by the word vegetarian. Here you see an example. I am going to the Saturn Cafe for a vegetarian burger. In a red hat, the adjective red is a modifier describing the noun hat. অর্থাৎ এখানে যে একটা সেন্টেন্স দেখছো, a red hat, একটা ফ্রেজ টাইপ, এখানে রেডটা হ্যাড যে নাউন আছে সেটাকে মডিফাই করছে, অর্থাৎ হ্যাড সম্পর্কে আমাদেরকে একটা ইনফরমেশন দিচ্ছে যে কোন কালারের বা কেমন হ্যাড। In they were talking loudly, the adverb loudly is a modifier of the verb talking. A working definition for the word modify is to change or to alter something. A modifier sometimes changes, clarifies, qualifies or limits a particular word in sentence in order to add emphasis, explanation or detail. Modifiers tend to be descriptive words such as adjectives and adverbs. In grammar, a modifier is an optional element in phrase structure or clause structure. অর্থাৎ একটা সেন্টেন্সে আমরা মডিফায়ারকে অনেক সময় বাদও দিতে পারি বা আবার রাখতেও পারি। A modifier is so called because it is said to modify, change the meaning of another element in the structure on which it is dependent. Typically, the modifier can be removed without affecting the grammar of the sentence. অর্থাৎ আমরা মডিফাইকে যদি অনেক সময় সেন্টেন্স থেকে বাদ দিলেও সেন্টেন্স গ্রামাটিক্যালি হ্যাম্পার্ড হবে না বা গ্রামাটিক্যালি ভুল হবে না। For example, in the English sentence, this is a red ball, the adjective red is a modifier modifying the noun ball. Removal of the modifier would leave this is a ball, which is grammatically absolutely correct and equivalent in structure to the original sentence. অর্থাৎ এখানে আমরা একটা সেন্টেন্স দেখছি যে this is a red ball, এটা হয় একটি লাল বল। Here red is adjective that modifies the noun ball. But if we remove the adjective red, the sentence then will be this is a ball. It will be a correct sentence also. Other terms used with a similar meaning are qualifier. The word qualify may be used in the same way as modify in this context. attribute and adjunct. These concepts are often distinguished from complements and arguments, which may also be considered dependent on another element but are considered an indispensable part of the structure. For example, in his face became red, the word red might be called a complement or argument of became rather than a modifier of became, since it cannot be omitted from the sentence. অর্থাৎ এই সেন্টেন্সে তোমরা দেখছো his face became red, এখানে redটা হচ্ছে became এর complement. For this reason, if we cannot use the red here as a modifier, and for this reason we can't omit the red from this sentence. Now, my dear students, you see the definition of post-modifiers. We know there are two types of modifiers, pre-modifiers and post-modifiers. As I discussed about pre-modifiers in my previous class, now I will discuss about post-modifiers. Here, first of all, the definition. A post-modifier is placed after the word that is modifies. He was the man chosen for the job. Here, chosen modifies the word man by telling us which man it was and comes after the word it is modifying. Post-modifiers are the modifiers which come after the words they modify. Customarily, the adverbs come after the verbs and modify them. Appositives, prepositional phrases, that is adjectives or adverbs, infinitives, adverbs or adjectives, dependent clause, etc. usually come after the nouns they modify. In English grammar, a post-modifier is a modifier that follows the word or phrase it limits or qualifies. Modification by a post-modifier is called post-modification. There are many different types of post-modifiers, but the most common are prepositional phrases and relative clauses. Now, my dear viewers and learners, you see the types of post-modifiers, that is in which way we should use the post-modifiers. There are different types of post-modifiers, such as in number 1, participles as post-modifiers. Participles often modify the noun. For example, I give you two examples. One is for present participle and another is for past participle. In first example, you see, I found an old woman standing at the door. Here, standing uses after the noun women, and it is the example of present participle, and it gives us information about the position of the women. For this reason, it is a modifier, and as it is used after the noun, it is post-modifiers. Then, I have got the letter written for you. Here, the letter is now noun, and written is past participle. Here, written gives the information about the noun later. For this reason, it is a modifier, and after the noun, it is called post-modifiers. Number 2, infinitive phrases as post-modifiers. Sometimes infinitive phrases may use as post-modifiers. For example, she got a nice pen to write with. Here, you see, to write with is an infinitive phrase, and it plays after the noun pen and gives information about the pen, and it influences the noun also. For this reason, it is used as modifier, and after the noun, it is post-modifiers. Number 3, adjective phrases as post-modifiers. He is a man of great honor. Here, of great honor is adjective phrases, and it gives us information about the noun man, what type of man he is. For this reason, here it is used as modifier, and after the as it is used after the noun man, for this reason it is post-modifiers. In number 4, you see nominal clause as appositive used as post-modifiers. অর্থাৎ বলছে নমিনাল ক্লোজগুলো যখন অ্যাপোজিটিভস হিসেবে ব্যবহৃত হয় তখন সেটা পোস্ট মডিফায়ার হিসেবে ব্যবহৃত হতে পারে। ফর এক্সাম্পল, দ্য রিপোর্ট দ্যাট হি ওয়াজ মার্ডার্ড ইজ ট্রু। Another example, Akib. Here you see the comma. My only son, comma, has become a BSc engineer. Here, Akib is noun, and all the phrases or all the clauses gives us information about Akib. For this reason, here it is used as modifiers and it is used as post modifiers. In number 5, you see relative clause as post modifiers. We know relative clause as post modifiers. It is the popular types of post modifiers. Here the example is, the boy who came here is my brother. Here, who came here is my brother is the relative examples of relative clause, as it is placed after the noun boy and it gives the information of that boy who is the boy. For this reason, it is post modifiers. Number 6, you see, my dear students, prepositional phrase as post modifiers. Prepositional phrase sometimes modify the noun, such as the midfielder with a red armband in jersey number 10 was Zidane. Then number 7, adverbs as post modifiers. Here is an example. Read the examples above and answer the questions below. Here the examples is the noun and above is adverbs. Again, question is noun and below is adverbs. Both the adverbs modifies the noun. For this reason, it is used as post modifiers. My dear students, you know I discussed about pre-modifiers and now I discuss about post-modifiers. And if you follow these rules and if you understand these rules and definitions of modifiers, pre-modifiers and post-modifiers, then it will be easy for you to solve the question. Now I set a question for you that is the structure that in which way your question you can get a question of modifiers. In the first sentence, you see most of the people in, here you see a number gap, we have to use possessive to pre-modify the noun. অর্থাৎ এখানে আমাদেরকে একটা পজিটিভ ব্যবহার করতে হবে যেটাকে নাউনকে প্রি-মডিফাই করবে। Country do not know the importance of English. তাহলে পজিটিভটা কোনটা হবে? Most of the people in our country. Our is a possessive. In fact, it is an, here you see B number gap, এবং এখানে আমাদেরকে ইউজ করতে হবে adjective to pre-modify the noun. একটা adjective ইউজ করতে হবে যেটা নাউনকে pre-modify করবে। In fact, it is an international language and we are living in a, C number gap, pre-modify the noun, village. Then অর্থাৎ এখানে আমাদেরকে একটা pre-modify the noun, একটা adjective ব্যবহার করতে হবে যেটা নাউনকে pre-modify করবে। Language, and we are living in a global village. So, if we know English, post modify the verb with an adverb. অর্থাৎ এই D নাম্বার গ্যাপে আমাদেরকে একটা adverb ব্যবহার করতে হবে যেটা ভার্বকে পোস্ট মডিফাই করবে। So, if we know English well, you can communicate with, here এখানে তোমরা E নাম্বার গ্যাপ দেখতে পাচ্ছ এবং এখানে আমাদেরকে ব্যবহার করতে হবে use article to pre-modify the noun phrase. আর্টিকেল ব্যবহার করতে হবে। Rest of the word, তাহলে আমরা কি আর্টিকেল ইউজ করতে পারি এখানে? You can communicate with the rest of the world. It's surely an important element of your use a noun adjective to pre-modify the noun. এখানে আমাদেরকে একটা নাউনই ব্যবহার করতে হবে। ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ স্কিল, এফ নাম্বার গ্যাপে আমরা ইউজ করব ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ স্কিল। আমরা জানি যখন দুটো নাউন পাশাপাশি ব্যবহৃত হয় তখন প্রথম নাউনটা দ্বিতীয় নাউনের মডিফায়ার হিসেবে কাজ করে, এজন্য আমরা ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ স্কিল এখানে ব্যবহার করলাম। Without the knowledge of English with proper understanding, you cannot complete. এখানে জি নাম্বার গ্যাপে আমাদের ব্যবহার করতে হবে use possessive to pre-modify the noun. you cannot complete your higher studies because most of the books are written in English in the process of higher education. Poor knowledge of English will also hamper your, here you see is number gap, and we have to use a noun adjective. আমাদেরকে এখানে একটা noun adjective ব্যবহার করতে হবে H number gap এ. Poor knowledge of English will also hamper your career development. আমরা এখানে career ব্যবহার করতে পারি যেটা ডেভেলপমেন্টের adjective মানে modifier হিসেবে কাজ করবে. Then, in short, if you do not have a good command in English, you will suffer. এখানে I number gap এ আমাদের ব্যবহার করতে হবে post modify the verb with prepositional phrase or adverbial. আমাদের একটা prepositional phrase অথবা adverbial ব্যবহার করতে হবে I number gap এ. তো আমরা এখানে ব্যবহার করতে পারি in the latter part. You will suffer in the latter part in your life. So, don't waste your time and try to learn English. Post modify the verb with an adverb. একটা আমাদেরকে একটা adverb use করতে হবে English well from today. My dear students, you have to study a lot to understand the grammatical item modifier, and if you want to understand, if you do solve the questions smoothly and quietly and rightly, you have to know the definition, understand the definition and the rules of the pre-modifier and the post-modifiers. Here, my dear students, I give you the answers for your betterment. You can solve the questions in your home and can match the answers. These are all for today. My dear students, learners and viewers, I hope in my next class I will be with you with some other topic that you feel problems. And thank you all to be with me in this time. Thank you all again. You should, my dear students, you should stay at home and should read more and more and should maintain the rules of hygiene. Till then, Allah Hafiz, Assalamu Alaikum.